I'm gonna start recording now, even though you're still waiting for soup. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Probably just to annoy you. My volume levels look really low. I'm gonna crank... I feel like shit, by the way. I'm gonna crank the gain on my microphone a little bit, because I think it's really quiet. Oh my god, I can't get my finger in there. Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? I am on so much Sudafed right now. Oh my god, I love Earl Grey tea. I actually feel like hell, so how are you?
I feel like shit.
Good.
Are you
Good.
recording already?
I've been recording for 9.5 minutes.
What the fuck's your problem? Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeff, and welcome to the Sound Judgment Podcast,
where every episode we'll be discussing all of the important musical topics, from reviews to which member of Motley Crue is the most vile.
I'm gonna judge the officials. I'm gonna judge all the judges. It's gonna take you people years to recover from all my opinions.
Man, I'm glad you feel like shit too, because I woke up this morning and I'd begun the shit feeling.
Yep. I actually felt okay a lot of the day. It was like as the afternoon rolled on and that I'm just like, it was like 2:00 and I'm just like, I'm so ready to go to bed.
So it's so fucking weird because it's like the same thing. I woke up this morning and I had like a little bit of a cough and very weird. The side of like my jaw hurt.
Oh, that is weird.
But not like I know dental pain. I've had plenty of dental pain in my life. It felt like when you fall asleep on your muscle and like it like kind of hurts for a little while, but on my jaw, and that's weird.
Do you know? Hold on. I'll before I say this, I want to make sure I'm not crazy.
Do I have lockjaw? Am I gonna die?
No, do you know the song Woke Up This Morning by Nickelback?
No.
Because the one line is just literally, I felt like shit when I woke up this morning, and I've been thinking about it for a while now. It's a good song, actually. It's actually one of their gooder. Oh my god.
One of their gooder songs?
It's on Silver Side Up. Like, it was when they were still good.
Is it your favorite Nickelback song?
I don't know if I'd say my favorite, but it's a good one. I like it.
Jeff, what's your favorite song to surprisingly only be released in the public domain in the past few years?
What the hell are you talking about?
I'll sing mine to you. Happy birthday
to shut
you.
The hell up.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Keemstar.
What the fuck?
That was the only celebrity of any note I could find with the same day.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Fuck Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr. What? What does he have to do with wrestling? As far as I'm concerned, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s entire career was he did those Scooby-Doo movies and then married Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like, I know literally nothing else this man has ever done. That is what I know him for. In my head, he has had one role, and then he married Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's fine. I'll allow it. Speaking of singing, I have a pre-review bit for you. Back in November, I was talking to your brother at work, and I told him I wanted to get just good enough at death growls to be better than a guy named Chris Barnes because I hate him.
Okay, who's Chris Barnes?
Chris Barnes is the former singer of Cannibal Corpse. He's the guy who did Hammer Smashed Face, if you know that song.
No, but I know who Cannibal Corpse is, so...
Well, he's on their first 4 albums. He's the guy who was on stage in the Ace Ventura movie. He's that Cannibal Corpse guy. He's not Corpse Grinder Fisher, who's a nice guy.
Oh, okay.
We like Corpse Grinder Fisher. We don't like Chris Barnes. He gives Chris a bad name.
Okay.
And he also is in a band called 6 Feet Under, who has like maybe one good album, if I'm being generous.
That's a really lame name for a band, just saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's really bland and cliche.
It's really easy to hate Chris Barnes for his interesting political opinions, because he's one of those people who believes in like school shooting crisis actors and like that COVID's a false flag. But like, that's not even what I want to get into tonight. Okay? Because I can make this purely about hating him based on his terrible music, his terrible, terrible cover albums, and his stupid opinions on the garbage metal sites. Because he's one of those people who every time like a band gets popular, he has to like throw in his 2 cents about why they suck and he's better.
Okay.
I want to set you up a little, because I'll be fair, he on the first like couple Cannibal Corpse albums he's actually like a pretty good death growler, right?
Okay.
But he isn't now, and very much so. But he likes to talk shit on the other death metal singers. I got some quotes here. He said, I watched a podcast on YouTube about death metal vocalists. It made me physically ill. I despise what the genre has become. All the people trolling me proves my point to all of the bitch-ass media making headlines, and it proves my point. Fuck y'all to hell and eat a dick on your way down.
He sounds like a nice guy.
He is. He's one of those people who almost certainly searches his own name on Twitter to block people.
Yeah, I can see that.
He, there was a news article on, Metal Sucks that he, blocked 1,000 people in one night or something.
That's awesome. What an absolute loser.
But I'm gonna send you, is this Back in Black? He has cover albums. This is Back in Black. I want you to listen to this with the quote in mind that he once said, every death metal singer sucks except me.
Everyone sucks except me is just, the lamest, child insult.
This is actually comedy fucking gold, because the band, despite having a death metal tone, plays it fairly straight, and then he just comes in with the fucking shittiest death growls.
Nice. I'm excited. Here we go. Play. Oh my god. He sounds like someone making fun of the style.
Right?
He sounds like what I would do if I were just making fun of death metal singers.
Jeff, I want to send you one other one because it's the meme song.
God, that's so amazing. God, he sounds so good.
This song is called Snakes, and the lyrics are snakes, and when it's not snakes, it's not about snakes. I don't... Yeah.
You want to try that again?
No, I don't, because that's the thing, is that the verses are snakes, 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 and then the chorus is something like slithering centipedes crawling on eyes or some shit like that.
Oh, so it's... Wow, alright, your description was actually fairly accurate then. Let's go. I'm ready to ride this pony.
But this is the song that, there's 1 hour of Chris Barnes saying snakes and shit like that.
Wow, yep. Snakes. Snakes. Wow. Okay, I'm done. That's really awful. Holy hell.
So for a long time I've been saying, I just want to be able to death growl better than Chris Barnes, right?
And how's that going?
Well, I said it in a group chat, and someone asked me if I heard the most recent 6 Feet Under album. Yeah. And they sent me a link, and I'm pretty sure one of the two of us needs to be disqualified. I'm not sure which one. So I'm gonna give you a verse of a song called The Noose. Okay. And I'm gonna do my best. Like I said, I'm not feeling too great. I'm a little under the weather. My jaw's hurting. But I don't want to make too many excuses because I'm only going up against Chris Barnes here.
Okay.
But this guy has as much time in the studio as he wants to fix this before he puts this album out, and I'm just gonna, one shot at glory, right?
Sure. Okay.
At the end, he does this thing on dying. I'm not sure if he's going for a pig squeal or a strapping young lad thing. So I'm just gonna death growl, and then I don't know. We'll talk about it later. But the lyrics are: "You fight for life, breathe, hanging from the rope. Your body just twitches there." And then he says dying, but he says it really weird. It's ding or whatever. I don't know what he's going for on that one, but
okay.
Hold on. I can't death growl sitting down. Is what I'm learning.
Oh, all right.
You fight for life, breathe, and for the rope, your body just twitches there, dying.
Alright, give that a number.
Out of what?
Out of
5?
10.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm also hearing it over Discord, but I'm gonna give you a 5.
Okay, thanks. I'll take that. Alright, 1 second.
You fight for life, breathe, hanging from the rope, the body just twitches there.
Oh my god. We're serious.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Again,
he sounds like a guy... I don't know, there was a video, I want to say it's a YouTuber named Jared Dines who did a video where he just walked on and asked random people can you do a metal scream?
Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that people do making fun of metal music.
Yeah.
What
No,
the
I know.
fuck is this guy doing? I love these comments, man. User monster fuck. To anyone out there making music and struggling with confidence, let this song be your reminder that no matter how bad you think your music is, you can make it in the industry. Chris Barnes is the Steven Seagal of death metal. Thank you, Graveyard Classics, for that beautiful comment. And CMT Productions. Everyone says that the vocals are awful, but I beg to differ. Chris's impersonation of Cicada is actually quite impressive. Oh, God. Wow, he really, he sucks.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna take the W on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the W. I'm gonna give almost anything the W. What the hell?
So anyways, I'm gonna join 6 Feet Under, kick him out, and then break him up because that band sucks.
Okay.
Jeff, did I ever tell you the Iron Maiden Death Growl story?
No.
You know that first time we saw Iron Maiden, you were up on the lawn, and I was down in the pit with a buddy of ours?
Yeah.
And we were down there, and there was a guy all night who was going,
"Can anybody death growl louder than me?"
Right, over and over.
Why?
I don't know. But, so they're playing, and he's mostly doing it between songs, and so in that regard, it's not bothering me too much until he continually, like, gets drunk to the point where he, like, Fear of the Dark starts, right? And there's that quiet part, like, where Bruce is like, I am the man who walks alone. And he starts doing it during that part. Like,
"Oh, can anybody death growl louder than me?"
I'm like, I'm trying to listen to fucking Iron Maiden here. But he tried to death growl the woes during that part, you know, whoa.
Oh my god.
He fucking passed out, and someone had to catch his dumb ass so that he didn't, like, crack his head off the concrete.
Honestly, deserved.
You know what he said when he got up?
What?
Can anybody death growl louder than me? I'm not doing it anymore. My throat's fucking killing me at this point.
Of course he did.
Anyways, Jeff, speaking of people who death growl better than me, what are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about Insomnium.
Fuck
Because,
yes.
actually, go figure, like, it wasn't that long ago that you found out that Jani Liimatainen is in that group now, formerly
You're in charge of
Sonata
names
Arctica
tonight.
and whatever. I actually literally have that in my notes that I'm going to attempt to pronounce these names as best as I can. I apologize. I do not speak Finnish, though, so holy
That's fine.
hell.
We're both screwed tonight.
But Jani, formerly of Sonata Arctica and in, like, tons of bands. I follow so much of what Jani's done.
Kane's Offering.
2 albums with Alteria. He formed a supergroup called Kane's Offering. He has credits on 4 Stradivarius albums. He does an acoustic duo with Timo Katapelto of Stradivarius and Kane's Offering. So far, the band Dark Element has 2 albums, and that is with Annette Olzon. I don't know how she says her name. Formerly of Nightwish. So then, yeah, in 2019, he joined Finnish melodic death metal band Insomnium. And that's the only reason I even know who Insomnium is because Jani talked about it, like, on Instagram or whatever.
I've been a fan of Insomnium for a few years now. I saw them on tour with a band called Omnium Gatherum, too. They were very good.
Those are bizarrely similar names. I kind of like it.
Omnium Gatherum have this album called Stuck Here on Snake Way. Snakes, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
But it always reminded me of DBZ.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Because that was Snake Way, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to call them Omnium Gatherum Dragon Balls.
That's awesome.
Anyway, but let's talk about Insomnium.
Let's talk about Insomnium. Okay,
so this is a concept album.
This album is called Anno 1696, which just means, like, the year 1696.
Yeah.
Just Latin for Anno. You know, like, AD is Anno Dominus, which means the year of the Lord. That sort of thing. So just Anno is just Latin for the year of 1969. And yeah, I guess this album is
1696.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
1969. The witch hunts were not that recent.
Nope, that was Woodstock, which was a very different experience than witch hunts. No, so this is about witch hunts that happen, which I did a little reading about witch hunts at the time because I really didn't understand just how big of a deal witch hunts were, especially in, like, Northern Europe from like the 15 to 1700s.
Like, we think of Salem as like kind of a bad thing, like Salem bad, right? But like, when you look at our numbers compared to the fucking numbers of this in one fucking, well, okay, so this is based on a fictional story that's based on a true story.
Yes,
is what I'm gathering.
That is my understanding as well. Yes,
but from what I understand, it was the lead singer wrote like a short story that was based on this. Again, I'm gonna screw this up, but the Torsaker witch trials.
Yeah, Torsaker.
Okay, Torsaker. In one day, 71 people were beheaded and burned. 65 women, 6 men, and it was like when I say 65 women, that's roughly 1/5 of the women in the region, apparently.
Yeah, so we're not talking a very large area. We're talking a fairly large percentage of people, though. So yes, my understanding is that bassist and vocalist Nilo Sevanen, I have no idea if I'm saying that right at all, he wrote a short story, and then based on the Torsaker trials, and then this is a concept album based on the short story. So yeah, Torsaker trials, 71 people were beheaded and burned. So this is all taking place just after a period of time between 1668 and 1676, which is a period of time that is referred to as the Great Noise, which roughly 400 people in Sweden were killed due to witchcraft.
No, is it just that? Because from what I'm understanding, there's also like starvation and like a long winter where the crops aren't growing, and so cannibalism and all kinds of like fucked up shit going on during this time.
Like everything, when you're looking at numbers that weren't super well recorded, there's a lot of speculation. But it's, you know, a good estimate is between 300 and 400 people were put on trial and killed for witchcraft. Never mind anything else. This does not include, I happen to find this number, possibly up to 80,000 people were killed in Europe between 1500 and 1660 due to witchcraft or related incidents dealing with supposed witchcraft. So another fun thing about these Torsaker trial that this is all roughly based on, though, there's a lot of speculation over what started it. There's a whole story about a girl named, and I'm going to use the very American pronunciation because I know in Swedish this is pronounced very differently, but Gertrude. I do not know how to pronounce it the original way, but there was a woman or maybe a young girl named Gertrude who got into an altercation with someone, debatably a priest, and basically the person accused her of using witchcraft to walk on water. So that is possibly one of the starts to the Torsaker witch trials.
Yeah.
But another relevant part to this, just because I thought this was really incredible, was priests involved. Part of the method they used to determine who was a witch was he hired a couple boys to basically stand at the doors of the church and look at everyone as they walked in, and they were looking for an invisible mark on each person's face that only a witch would have.
There is so much of that shit in witch trials. It's fucking crazy.
So apparently one of these boys at one point pointed out to a woman, this woman named Britta Rufina, who was the priest's wife.
Yeah, and they were like, oopsie.
She slapped him, and he basically came out and said, never mind, I'm sorry, I was wrong, the sun was in my eyes. Like, This is the system they used to determine if, you know, people were a witch.
Jeff, did you ever, look into the Salem witch trials? Because the shit is crazy. And not, like, 20 people were killed and 200 people were arrested, but the people that were killed were the people who denied it, and the 200 people who were incarcerated were the ones who were saying, I'm a witch, but I can rat out other witches.
Yeah, exactly.
Witch trials are the most, fucking fucked up thing in history.
Aside
from some other things.
They're definitely up there. They are definitely up there.
And again, this priest, Laurinaitis Christophori Hornius, I think. I'm just going to call him that. Another guy giving Chris's a bad name.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Honestly, it's deserved.
No, fuck off. I didn't do anything.
Yet.
Fucking Hornius over here. I'm glad he had the forethought, though, to behead them away from the burning stakes so that the blood wouldn't get the stakes wet and make the victims harder to burn.
Oh, I actually did not happen to know. I did not read that.
Yeah, I guess they beheaded them at the bottom of the hill and then burned them at the top of the hill.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you catch my favorite little little tidbit here
What's
is that the local governments actually had no authority to do executions.
Yeah. They were supposed to what, arrest them and then like report their findings to the higher government.
Yes,
and they were just like, fuck that.
Yeah, they just didn't. They just flat out didn't.
Yeah.
So that's always cool.
That's always good.
So Anno 1696 is loosely based on this time period in Northern Europe. Chris, where do you want to start?
Well, I think the best place to start is at the beginning of the album.
Beginning. I knew you were gonna say that. All right.
And this album, like most melodic death metal albums, begins with acoustic guitars and folky drumming.
The 5 or 9 beat, hanging from the rope, the body just twitches there.
It sure does. There is a lot of folky stuff in here. There's a lot of in here. Yeah, and obviously you gotta have the random acoustic guitars in what is otherwise very aggressive music.
I noticed some mouth harps in there too. That was nice. You know, the doing, the doing, the doing. Towards the end of the track. Isn't that what they're called?
I actually never really put thought into what that's called. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I never thought of that actually.
They're calling it a Jew's harp, and that sounds a little offensive.
That does sound a little offensive. I am finding jaw harp, juice harp, or mouth harp. So we're gonna go with that as opposed to the Jew harp. That sounds a little not what I'm looking for.
It is a little sounding not okay, but I think if it's okay for Leonard Cohen to say, it's all right for us.
Leonard Cohen said a lot of things that I wouldn't actually repeat. So I don't know if that's a valid excuse. I'm not going to go with that. Yeah, okay. So album starts with the title track, 1696.
If you're not familiar with melodic death metal, or as we will likely refer to it from here on out as mellow death, I'm being a little sarcastic. It's usually not starting off as folk metal, but also it's usually a little bit faster and a little bit more shreddy, which this album was not, and that was kind of a pleasant surprise for me. Because I kind of expected it to be like shreddy with Yanni from Sonata being known for his, Wolf and Raven kind of thing.
Which in all fairness, he hasn't done a whole lot for quite a while, actually. He really has moved into this style more, which honestly, this album would fit fairly well with a lot of black metal. Like, this is much less mellow death than I was expecting.
This one, it's a lot more moody, and it stays a lot in the... When I say mid-pace, I don't want to it's there's a lot of rocking on here, like rock music, but it doesn't go the speed that you normally expect from melodic death metal.
Yeah, the tempo in general is a bit slower than I think you would typically expect for a mellow death album. But again, like, this to me feels much more like a black metal album, which is just kind of how like I mentally compartmentalized.
I mean, black metal also takes a lot of influence from that folk style too. So that also is probably coming into play with that analysis there.
In all fairness, listening to this album the entire time just made me want to listen to Bathory.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was going.
Who also have a mouth harp in some of their songs.
Yes, they certainly do, and a lot of acoustic guitar and a lot of folky stuff. So that's kind of, again, like, that's the comparison I was making. This does not feel like a mellow death album. So I don't have anything really to say about the track 1696, unless
it was a change of pace from what I'm used to from Insomnium. I haven't heard the last album or two, so I'm a little bit more used to them playing the traditional style. So I mean, not that I was shocked, but I didn't go into this expecting a concept album or anything like that. I just expected, fun old school melodeath, and here's these like tribal drums and these acoustic guitars. These very and when I say acoustic guitars, like there's you can get a lot of sounds out of an acoustic guitar. These are folky acoustic guitars.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving on. I don't really have anything to say about the track White Christ in and of itself, except I just want to point out that it features Greek vocalist Sakis Tolis, who is from the band Rotting Christ, and I feel like that's awfully fitting that the guy from Rotting Christ is on a track called White Christ. Just, yes. I thought that was awfully fun.
That's a fun song, though. That's one of the ones, I could see someone do the fist thing live. You do the fist thing, the fist bump, the bump. bum, bum.
Oh,
You
like
know?
the fist in the air thing.
Yeah, like the fist in the air thing.
I'm
like, yeah.
literally picturing a crowd of people like fist bumping each other, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, like pounding your fist at the air.
Yeah, that makes absolutely
Knocking on invisible doors. If we're gonna call the black metal post holding invisible oranges, now we're pounding on invisible doors.
Holding invisible oranges?
Have you never seen that?
No. What are you talking about?
There's a website called Invisible Oranges. You know that fucking thing that where like every black metal musician makes their hands like they're gripping invisible oranges?
No.
Pretend you're grabbing an invisible orange and look at your hand. That.
Like an open palm, like facing down?
No, you hold the orange upward.
Oh, like an open palm facing up, like you're
holding an invisible orange.
Okay, I see. I'm looking up. I see what you mean. I get it. Like
this man is holding invisible oranges. He's grasping some invisible oranges.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. Huh. I've never I don't recall this phrase being a thing. I like it though. Okay. So no, enough of the oranges. I will say I think this album really picks up on track 3, Godforsaken, which features female vocalist Johanna Kirkella. I'm gonna go with that and hope that's right.
Yeah, another vocalist that you're familiar with if you listen to a lot of Sonata Arctica.
Yeah, so the problem is I happened to notice that she is on 2 songs off of Sonata Arctica's album Days of Grace. Did you see what song she's on?
I think it's the one that I don't listen to and one that I listen to.
It's Death Aura and No Dream Can Heal a Broken Heart, which are 2 songs I don't care for.
Oh, I like No Dream Can Heal a Broken
so
Heart.
I genuinely, like, I don't recognize her voice at all because I have listened to both of those songs, but they are not songs I ever put on. Go figure, I actually really like that album as a whole, so...
No, I normally skip track 1, but I actually really like No Dream Can Heal a Broken Heart. Well, I guess it's track 2.
Yeah, which
There's
is
that intro track. But yeah, I go straight to track 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so go figure. But yeah, so she's on that, and she is in this, not really singing a lot of words. She's in this doing a lot of great harmonies, a lot of great, very... Yeah, we got that ambient. We're going to use I'm going to do the metal review thing, and we're going to use the word ethereal, right?
Ooh.
That's the metal word that people use to describe things, right? You got to call it ethereal.
Ethereal.
So
we're getting a thesaurus out this week,
right? That just sounds like the kind of thing that's a word that people use to describe.
It's a review word.
That's a metal review word. And,
yeah.
Oh, God, gag me. It's a lot of oohs and ahs as she sings in harmony, and honestly, the harmonies are beautiful. And
I think the harmonies, in general, I know that, like you've said, you don't have a lot to say about the last 2 songs, and I kind of agree, but I don't mean that in a negative way. But I will say, like, throughout the album, I think there's a lot of really good both vocal harmonies and melodies, and like also guitar harmonies and melodies. I know I said I expected more shred, but I don't want that to like come across as like the guitar work isn't good, because there is some really cool melodies on here.
Yeah. Oh, there's some great melodies. I was gonna say I'm actually getting to Godforsaken because I think this track sums up a lot of my thoughts on the album as a whole. So again, you have these like interludes with Johanna, I don't know how she says her name, Miss Kirkella, with her singing, and then all of a sudden the songs just explode like into the true heavy like black metal influence sound. And then the first verse comes in, and I'm gonna read the lyrics for the first verse. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Have you read the lyrics to the song at all, to the album?
I have followed along to the lyrics for most of the songs, but I haven't committed a lot of them to memory. But go for it.
Yeah, okay. So, first verse of the song Godforsaken. Where is the light and the reason? Where is the mercy of God? Have we been cast to damnation? Have we been banished to dark? It's completely inoffensive. I think lyrically there are some fine lines, but as a general rule, this is a style where the words, if you ask me, exist just to fill gaps. The words are using the voice as an instrument to add to the wall of sound. The words are not that important as far as I can tell.
I would say like the vocal melodies are more important than what words they're actually saying.
Yeah, the lyrics are frequently not super impressive in a lot of ways. They tell kind of stories, but the stories are extraordinarily vague in the lyrics. This is definitely one of those ones that, like, if I didn't know this was a retelling of a story about witch trials, I would not have put any of that together. But I think it works. I think it works perfectly. This sound, this very black metal-esque, I think it's safe to say Insomnium are like a very dark mellow death band, which I know sounds really stupid because we're talking about like a heavy metal, but like they are exceptionally melancholy in a lot of ways.
If you're descriptions that are hard to give to like, you know, anyone who's not in like this specific niche, but if you're somehow familiar with power metal but not mellow death is just power metal for people who like death growls, is something I always say.
It's not far off. Yeah, it's like musically it's I don't want to say upbeat because that makes it sound almost too happy, and it doesn't necessarily need to be happy.
Yeah,
but yeah, mellow death is definitely like a pretty jammin', rockin' style. Yeah. It's not doom and gloom sounding typically, not like, you know, from like an aesthetic standpoint at least.
Melodic death metal is very different than death metal.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but like I said, so there's a lot of this album. In fact, almost all of this album to me is. Background music is not the phrase I'm looking for, but it is not music that I think demands to be listened to very intently.
It doesn't have to be an active listen. This isn't Shea Dorval here.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the complete opposite of what we talked about last time. This is not music that I need to put on headphones and focus in like my entire world is this music. This is definitely music that you put on while you're doing something else.
Yeah. Actually, one thing about White Christ is I actually really like, towards the end, they have like a really melodic solo that like reminded me more of the slow ballads of Sonata Arctica.
Yeah. Oh, there's some I mean, there's nothing really bad about this. I do have one complaint, but there's nothing really bad about this. There are some great guitar melodies. Yeah. I think rhythmically the vocals, like, again, they fill the space beautifully. Like,
and if you want something that harkens back to like more pure mellow death, I'm thinking the pronunciation of this track is Lillian.
Yeah,
is your best example on there of that. That's actually like a pretty straightforward mellow death song for the most part.
Speaking of the song Lillian, it does have probably my favorite line in this album, which is, quote, "I dare not even raise my voice," which is great because it's a line that is screamed. And that's just beautiful to me. It's like when Chuck Billy shouted the version of Silent Night at us. It's the loudest version of Silent Night imaginable. So I love
that song.
I love just the contrast of I dare not even raise my voice, and it is literally screamed. It is just absolutely beautiful. No, Lillian, as I believe I can, as far as I know, is also like the song on the album that people seem to gravitate towards. Yeah. Like, I think it is like the, not necessarily single, so to speak, but it's the big song on the album that's probably going to go down with the band for longer than anything else. Like, I can see this being the song that in 5 years it might be the only song off the album they're still playing, kind of thing. Okay, so I have two actual like complaints with this album though. One is I think some of these tracks they overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
I do not think The Rapids, which is the last track on the album, I do not think it needs to be 7.5 minutes long. There was not 7.5 minutes worth of material here. You could have easily cut a minute or two out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Even Godforsaken, which is probably my favorite track on the album that we already mentioned. It's 8.5 minutes long. Again, you could have cut a 2 or 3 minutes probably out of this and not actually lost anything of substance. But in all fairness, the whole album is 50 minutes long. I really can't complain about it overstaying its welcome too much, because it's not like it's some unbearably long epic of an album. It's under an hour. Yeah. I just think, like, my personal preference is I would have cut some of these tracks down.
You like your music a little bit more to the point.
Yeah, I don't like wasting time. I don't like, as I've referenced many times, I don't like riff salad. Not that this is riff salad, but, like, that's just a perfect example of you're wasting time. Like, you are doing a thing over and over again for the sake of making a song longer, and that's just stupid.
I didn't have that problem, but I think I tend to be more tolerant of long music and riff. I actually like riff salad every once in a while, so.
Yeah, I do not.
I'll take a Master of Puppets now and then.
No, I want a point. My second complaint with this, though, is I am such a huge fan of Yanni's voice, and he is not used on this album.
Not really. I mean, he's credited as backing vocals, but I didn't hear him stand out in any way.
I think it's in there a few times, but if you would listen to, like, so off of their album in 2019, Heart Like a Grave, if you'd listen to the song Valediction, like, he's a central part of that song.
I have to go back and listen to that album because I haven't checked it out yet.
He just has such a cool voice, and I miss hearing Yanni's voice in situations.
Yeah.
And again, like, as a huge fan of Yanni's playing, part of me is really sad that he is less shreddy than he used to be. Over the past couple of days, I've actually been reliving, like, my high school days. He did a few videos for a Japanese magazine called Young Guitar.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's one video that's just like half an hour of him, it's like demo 1, and it's literally just him, like, shredding for a minute, or, like, playing some cool riffs for a minute or two. And I've been rewatching those videos, because back in high school, I was a huge fan of Yanni's style.
So, on the album that he did with them previously, did he shred more on that? Because I kind of just chalked it up to maybe it was the style of this album, because they're going for this darker tone.
No,
maybe he didn't shred for that reason, but is he just not doing it as much anymore?
It's just really just not a part of his style. I mean, it's even in any of his projects, it's really not much of a thing. Even with, like, Kane's Offering, he has some riffs that are pretty shreddy, but, like, there's not really any crazy solos or anything in Kane's Offering. Same with Dark Element, he takes a handful of guitar solos, but nothing's like, nothing is back with like the Eighth Commandment days of like from Sonata Arctica. I think it's just, his musical taste and style changing. You figure he was like 18 or 19 when he first joined Sonata Arctica, so
yeah, the
dude's in his 40s now. Like, he just has a change of heart here.
Yeah. That's a shame, though. You always hate to, like, gravitate to someone's style for some reason, and they take that out of their repertoire.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's a shame, but it's. I don't think what he's been making is bad. I really like the Dark Element. If you want more, like, Annette era Nightwish, that's basically what it sounds like. But it's just a style change. We'll always have the old records to go to, but it is a shame to me, and it makes me sad that he doesn't do the. He's not the soloist he used to be.
Yeah. Jeff, any other thoughts?
I was just going to say the same thing. Do you have any more thoughts? Because honestly, I really don't. I think it's actually a really solid album. I enjoyed my time with it, but I don't have, like, nothing really stands out. There's not a single track on here that I'm going to be like, yo, you got to listen to this.
Okay, so here's the thing. I would agree with that, except that I really like the album as a whole, and I'll probably come back to the album itself.
I probably will, too.
There's nothing on here that I would put on as a single track, but I think it's a really fun album. And I also just kind of have, like, I don't know, that kind of, like, dark fucked up shit in history is something I think is interesting. Like, I think witch trials are, like, terrible, but also, like, kind of interesting to learn about.
This absolutely enlightened me into the world of that era of witch trials, which, again, I was unaware was as big of a deal as it was. Like, I'm aware witch trials have happened in many cultures for a long time, but not to this level.
All right, so do you want to play What Have You Been Listening to Lately, then?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to? What have you been listening to, Christopher?
Well, aside from Insomnium, obviously, is apparently my most listened to thing recently. I guess I've just been back into, like, my high school cringe days as well, because I've been listening to a lot of Acid Bath.
Oh, okay.
Man, I love Acid Bath, but, like, listening back to them now, I'm like, man, these lyrics are fucking cringe.
I know what you mean, not specifically with not specifically with Acid Bath, but I am aware of, like, I am aware of going back and listening to music and going, oh no.
Well, we kind of talked about that a couple weeks ago, and I might also throw in like another cringe band that I've been. I don't know. That one's a little bit more obscure, but I'll start here. But like, yeah, Acid Bath. So first off, I want to throw out there these records were made in the 90s by like a group of teenagers who were very, very fucking high and like reading about serial killers and shit. So there's a lot of like the R word being thrown around.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the fucking one line that like I was laughing as I was singing it in the car? It's like I heard the ghost of Hitler on the radio. I blew a load of Jesus into Mary's hole. Shit like that.
Oh, that's so stupid. Okay.
Yeah, it's super fucking cringe.
Yeah, I
want
nothing to do with this.
Oh, but I love Dax Riggs' voice.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
he was 18 and doing like opium and reading about serial killers. What do you want from the guy?
I doesn't change the fact that I'm not going to listen to this.
No, the lyrics are stupid, but like his more recent stuff is awesome. Because now he's like a singer-songwriter who does it's still slightly like gothy, but like not quite as over the top lyrics. Speaking of singer-songwriters, I've also been listening to Jeff. Have you ever heard of someone called Shanna Cleveland?
No.
Cool, because her new album's coming out next week, and I'm probably going to be listening to it if you want to make that a review album.
I could probably do that.
She is, well, actually, she is currently, like, a singer-songwriter who does very, like, I'm going to use some review words here. She does, like, singer-songwriter stuff, but kind of puts that ethereal vibe over it.
Okay.
Kind of like, I'm sure you've listened to it since then, like that first Shea Dorval album.
Yeah, okay.
But what you might be interested is that before that, she was in kind of like a psychedelic surf rock band.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds fun. I'm into this.
So her new album comes out next week. I'm gonna send you one from like her last album that you can get an idea if you want it to be involved in this.
Okay.
But I'll also send you something from her surf rock band.
Okay, sure. Did I lose you? Are you there?
Alright, this is the solo song.
Oh, this is weird. Okay. I could listen to more of this.
And here is her band before that.
So this is the psychedelic surf band.
Yeah. To use more review words, I think that'll be kind of aesthetic for you.
Yeah, this is interesting. All right, I will absolutely take part in listening to some of this. This sounds like it could be a good time.
Yeah, so those three things make up my most listened to, and then I also have like some Tom Waits and stuff peppered throughout there. Things that aren't being cataloged by the internet because I got a new record player, Jeff.
Oh, check that out. That's right. I didn't know about this.
Finally got it's not gone yet. I can still look at my old record player, but it was doing this thing where the turntable was like kind of wobbling, and I'm like, this is a like $60 record player from Walmart that would be cheaper for me to just replace than get rebalanced.
Yeah.
So I've been putting it off for a while, and I finally was like, all right, I got some spare cash. I'm gonna just, I went to Walmart and actually and found like a decent record player. It seems.
Okay.
I guess they're moving beyond just like having those, suitcase turntables because they actually had some like Audio Technicas and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's becoming popular enough again that there's a bit of a market for it.
Yeah, so I grabbed like some Motorhead and some Merciful Fate, and I've been listening to some more records lately.
Very cool.
The first two Overkill albums, I got the song where he sounds like Zim now on vinyl.
Yeah, okay, you did tell me all about that. That's a great time.
Yeah. I'll put a clip right here.
I was gonna say you need to add a clip of that.
I'll put a clip of the song, that Overkill song that I'll edit the name in post. Power Surge.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. And then I'll put a clip of Zim here for people who don't know.
Curse you, snacks! Curse you!
Power Surge. That's the name of the Overkill song. Power Surge.
Perfect.
Okay. How about you? What have you been listening to?
I've been catching up on Iggy Pop's discography.
How's he doing? How's old Iggy?
Somehow he's still around.
He's still fucking kicking.
He released a new album in January, actually, which was my inspiration to go back and listen to his last few that I've missed.
Was any good?
It's Iggy Pop. I mean, it's exactly what I expect from Iggy Pop. It's been a good time. I really dig the album Post Pop Depression from 2016.
Mm-hmm.
The newest one is called Every Loser. It's not bad. Again, it's kind of exactly what I expect from Iggy Pop.
Okay.
So I was on that kick, but then lately I've been doing this thing where I go on Spotify and I type in a year and I listen to the top hits from that year. I started in 2007, the year I graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been going back. I went back all the way down to 1999 so far. And I've learned a few things.
Oh.
Most notably, I know almost nothing from 2000 to 2009. That's what I've learned.
Wow.
There is this period, however, in like 2000, 2001, where there's a lot of these songs that I hear them and they're like super nostalgic. They'll bring me like right back to a time and place. I remember hearing this song. Not that the song is good, but it brings me back.
It, yeah.
Like, do you remember Heaven is a Half Pipe?
Hell
By
yeah!
OPM. Like that. Not that that's a good song. But I had like such a vivid memory of like sitting, so it's 2001. I'm in 7th grade, sitting on the back porch with my brother and a couple of his friends, and MTV is on a little TV on the back porch, right? Like I just was brought back immediately to that. But I've been really enjoying this little game I've been playing, called What the Hell Is This? Where I grab one of the playlists. Like, for example, I'm going to open up Top Hits 2000, and I hit shuffle, and I hit play, and I try and see if I even have a clue what any of this music is. Like, if I hit play, here, we got this artist's name is Joe. Like, that's it. That's literally this dude's name. It is just Joe. It's a song called I Wanna Know. It is by Joe off an album called My Name is Joe. What the actual hell is this? Or like, okay, next, we have Leanne Rimes. I don't know anything about Leanne Rimes, except I know her name. I know her name because of the Bare Naked Ladies. Right? You know,
yeah.
Like Wasabi When I Bust Rhymes, big like Leanne Rimes because I'm all about value, right?
Yeah.
What's the next line? Bert Kampfert. That's another person I don't know who that is. Bert Kampfert's got the mad hits. You try to match wits. You try to hold me, but I'll bust through. Oh, I used to have this memorized. Anyway, like, I've been doing this. Like, here we go again. Here's a song called I'm Out of Love by Anastasia. Is this supposed to be Anastasia?
Anastasia?
It's like Anasta, and then it ends with CIA. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Like, who the hell are these people? How did I miss this?
No idea. Now, here's the thing. Are these, like, worldwide charts where, like, this person could be like, I don't know, fucking... Who's that singer who's fucking huge in Australia and, like, I know her from one Nick Cave song?
No. I think this is, like, the American Billboard charts is what this is based on. Or at least just, like, popular. I might be wrong. I have no idea. Some of the stuff might literally not be from here. Here, we have Three Doors Down. Like, there's a band to throw up to. That sounds great.
I had a neighbor who was very confused about the concept of cover bands, and his dad was in a cover band, but he thought his dad wrote Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, and the band stole it from him.
Are you serious?
That was a very funny moment in my life.
Oh my god, remember the guy who tried suing Green Day because he said he wrote the album American Idiot before they did? Do you remember this?
No.
I don't remember any details. I remember it being a thing that was real popular on the Ultimate Guitar forums. People kept posting articles about this guy who, like, from what I remember, it seemed like he heard the album American Idiot, went and recorded a demo version of all of those songs, and then tried taking them to court. Like, no, I totally wrote this first. So that's been my new game lately, is I put on these playlists and I just, like, shuffle through them. And my god, I, like, don't remember so much of this. And admittedly, part of that is the fact that, you know, I was 10, 11, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
My music listening was almost entirely, like, Weird Al. And then, like, I started raiding my dad's CD collection, so I had, like, Appetite for Destruction and, like, London Calling by The Clash.
Yeah.
So, I know nothing about the music from the 2000s. It is so bizarre to me. But I've been doing that, and it has not been fun, honestly. Because a lot of this music is really bad. Like,
yeah.
Like, really bad.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear people complain about how bad music is now, because I don't think it could possibly get worse than some of this absolute garbage that came out in the 2000s.
Jeff.
What?
The 2000s was prime time for music. You got Limp Bizkit, you got Korn. I want to talk about POD for a second.
Oh, they're on here. I stumbled upon them. Youth of the Nation was on whatever playlist that was, whatever year that was.
So we have a friend, I won't say a name because I won't need to when I tell you what band they wanted me to go drive them to see at a festival. It was Volbeat.
Okay.
They were like, what you get out of it is that you get to see Limp Bizkit, right? Because I've been joking about seeing Limp Bizkit, which I would. If they came within less than an hour radius, I would go see Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
But it was 3 hours away, and I'm not going for that.
That's a little tough.
But they sent me the poster for the festival, and Limp Bizkit wasn't the band that caught my eye. What caught my eye is that after all these years, POD is still fucking going.
That's amazing.
And I had to know, Jeff, what does Limp Bizkit, or not Limp Bizkit, what does a POD sound like these days?
In my, hold on, before you say anything, in my head, because I'm assuming I'm wrong, because you're, like, weird about this, I assumed they'd be one of those guys who sound exactly the same. Like, they haven't
POD
changed
sound exactly the fucking same.
Oh god, do they really?
I'm sending you a 2021 recording of Southtown, and I think that if... I wouldn't want to go see POD, but if POD played at a local festival, I don't think I'd be disappointed. And the dude's still got energy.
Yeah, I'm 50 seconds in. This dude is going crazy already. Wow!
Right? Of all of, like, the bands from that time period that are just, like, either gone or broken up or, like, dead now, POD is still fucking going strong!
Why is this good?
Right?
It's that divine intervention, man. They're out here spreading the word of God, and God is giving them the gift.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say maybe it's like because they're like Christian, they're like teetotalers or something.
I mean, like in all
drugs
fairness,
and alcohol aren't involved in like the deterioration of their like lives and voices.
That's what I was gonna say. In all fairness, it's probably just the fact that they like take care of themselves.
But holy shit, like I'm impressed.
Yeah, this is really cool, actually.
I'm giving POD a thumbs up for as much as I can give POD a thumbs up.
That's really strange. Yeah, I was not expecting that. Oh, you know what else I learned? Not learned, more like I was reminded that this is a thing. Kylie Minogue has been around for a long time.
That was who it was! That was the Australian musician who I've never heard a fucking song from, but they're huge in Australia.
Oh, are you kidding? Oh, that's funny. Okay, no. So, not just Australia. Apparently, she's been huge in a lot of places for a long time, because she's on these playlists, and I'm like, I seriously have not... I only knew this name, 5 years ago. In my head, she's some, young pop star. And, she's not. She is a tried and true veteran.
Because the only reason I found out who she was is from a 1996 Nick Cave album that she does guest vocals on, and that's when I found out she's this huge musician in Australia that I've never fucking heard of.
Yeah, and she's in her 50s. She's been around. She is good. She knows what she's doing. I had no idea because I heard about her for the first time a few years ago. In fact, I'm looking at her discography. I want to say it was in 2015 when she released a Christmas album is when I first heard of who she was.
Go fucking figure.
Because it was one of those oh, here's a Christmas album by someone I've never heard of. And then I looked and it's oh my god, you have 30 albums. Who the hell are you? Yeah, so that's been my adventure. Been on a lot of Iggy Pop and then just random veers down music from the 2000s. Awful music.
Awful music.
God, Nelly. Remember when Nelly was everywhere?
Oh man,
who lit Nelly happen?
What was his songs? What he had songs.
Street Sweeper, baby.
Oh yeah, down, baby. Your street in a Range Rover, Street Sweeper, baby. That's all I know.
Street Sweeper, baby.
Street Sweeper.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know that song is because it makes me think of Angry Beaver.
Hot in Here. Take off all your clothes.
That was him, wasn't it? He was hot in here.
He was hot in here. He took off all his clothes.
Or remember that time Madonna covered American Pie?
No.
You're better off. Don't bother looking it up.
Remember that time I had a teacher who, much like me, would live her life through song references, but they always ended up fucking weird. When she referenced "Hot in Here" and everyone else was the next line is "Take off all your clothes."
That's awkward. I like it.
And then she referenced that Smashing Pumpkins song, and everyone was the next line is "I used to be a little boy."
Oh, that's awkward. I love it. That's awesome. Oh man. But yeah, that's been my thing.
You ever just have a bad day and oh wait, we talked about it up top when I'm sorry, I'm eating a cough drop and talking to you still, so it's just making noise in my mouth. I don't know if the mic's picking it up.
It did, and I was really worried it was what I was just listening to.
I'm sorry. I started having the throat itches. I took a cough drop, and it's probably been picking up me, ticking around in my mouth. I'm sorry to all the people who hate mouth sounds. Here's some fucking ASMR for you. Listen to the Deftones, their ASMR metal. I saw you change into a fly. We were talking earlier about when you just have a line going through your head because of whatever's happening in that moment.
Okay.
Very dramatically, I've been having a bad week, and I've been thinking a lot about a former, not local to us, but local to when I saw Sonata Arctica on the other side of the state, and they had a band called Glass Midnight open.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, I never bought their actual demo, but I had the low quality rips from MySpace.
Okay.
And I don't know if I ever sent you any of their shit. I think the backing band was kind of a generic kind of rock band, but the singer's energy is what sold them on me, because he's just so fucking ridiculous and over the top when I saw him, and in any video you see of him online. And his lyrics are much the same. They're very over the top and dramatic. But I'm sitting at work and I'm just having a bad day, and I'm the fucking goofy opening lines to one of their songs is just coming to me, right? It's welcome to my world. I apologize. It's crumbling down before my eyes.
Beautiful.
But then I looked them up, and no, he still pulls me in with how fucking, not a good vocalist, but he's really trying up there, Jeff.
He's doing his best.
But you know what I mean? When someone's you're not technically good. Probably. I don't know. Maybe what do I know about fucking vocal technique? You heard me death growl earlier.
All right, let's go. Glass Midnight, Before My Eyes. Yeah, the song's called Before My Eyes.
Yeah. I love videos of people playing to like 10 people.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. I apologize, it's crumbling down before my eyes. Another year passes, but I'm still barely sweeping by. And now I'm forced to watch the tales of that.
I kind of like this guy's voice a lot, actually.
Right? Right?
Yeah, I'm really liking this guy, actually. Also, man, credit to whoever the sound guy at this show was.
Yeah.
Because even on this awful 2009 like cell phone footage, it sounds pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So kudos to whoever was running the sound booth for this, man.
Yeah.
At the Stone Pony in Asbury Park on January 31st, 2009. You did great.
Thumbs up to that sound guy.
Absolutely. Chris,
Yeah.
are we done?
I think we're done.
I think we're done. The Sudafed's wearing off. I can feel it.
I'm about to go take some fucking NyQuil.
I was distracted for a little bit. I was feeling kind of okay for a little bit there, and it's definitely nope. It's come back.
Hey Jeff, how about before we go, why don't we have a moment of silence for the last member of Leonard Skinner who just passed away? Do you remember his name?
Gary Rosington.
Gary Rosington. Let's have a moment of silence for Gary Rosington before we go. Everybody